Hey everybody, John with Lucky Loon Outdoors. I'm here today to help you pick out a kayak paddle. It's difficult. Let's take a look. Okay, so there's a lot of considerations that go into this. I've got three very different paddles on the table here that I have quite a bit of experience in all three of these. So when you're getting into the realm of getting into kayaking and your second most important thing, which is picking the paddle, it can be quite a daunting task. I'm going to hit kind of the big points for you. So point one is going to be sizing. So on the manufacturer's websites for like Aquabound, Carlisle, whatever, they'll have a sizing guide on there. Use their sizing guide. But typically what it goes off of is the width of the kayak you're using versus your height. Okay, but they do have a matrix in there that'll help you pick that out. The second thing is going to be like high versus low angle. And that's based off of the cut of the blade here. And that's going to result in if you're going to be raising your hand higher in the air to dig in harder, or if you're going to be at a lower angle, digging in less hard into the water. And essentially what that's doing is high angle is typically a more aggressive paddle, and a low angle is a more touring angle, like easier on your arms. You can go longer distances. It's easier on your body, meant for more of that long-term paddling. Your next thing is going to be price. Obviously, like all three of these are drastically different price ranges, and there's a lot of things that affect that. And things that you're going to have to consider are going to be like what materials you want, what kind of paddling are you doing. Are you going to be looking at just short day trips? Are you looking at just little river trips, little lake trips, you know, a few miles at a time, nothing too crazy? Well, you probably don't need this one down here. You probably need to spend that kind of money. You could probably get away with in the top two on the table for something like that. But if you start looking into those more lengthy trips, you know, 15 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles in a day or more, you're going to want to spend the money on something nice, okay? And of course materials affect that. So, and with that goes special features as well. Most of the kayak paddles you're going to find are going to be the straight shaft here, like these top two. Some may or may not have a pad on there like this. Most of all of them should have this little guy to divert the water off the shaft to keep it from constantly getting on your hands. But there are some with special features, such as this one here. This is my primary paddle that I use, this Aquabound Tango. And it's got a bent shaft in it. And what that does is it results in your hand being at a more natural angle when you're paddling, so it's less stress on your wrists. And this can be a really good thing if you're, say, you're a little older, or you have wrist issues. Maybe you fell and hurt your wrist or something along those lines. You may want to consider a special feature along something like that. So when you're looking at these, you really got to consider what it is you're going to do. You got to look at what materials are important to you. You're going to go all aluminum because you're not doing anything too crazy. Just basic stuff. Do you want a composite shaft? Do you want carbon fiber or fiberglass paddle here? And keep in mind they all have different strengths and weaknesses as well. So like this is my primary one. This is my secondary one here. This is for when I go on my long trips, my 15-20 mile trips. And this is very, very, very light. It's really easy on the wrist. It's got that carbon fiber shaft, and it's got that fiberglass paddle here, but it's not something you want to get into rocks or beat up, because you have a much greater chance of breaking this than this one here. So this is like my river paddle. So they're both the same length, 230, which is my dimension, but this one I can beat up. You can see it's dirty from my trip last weekend, but you can beat this up. It's got that essentially really thick plastic for the paddle, so I can dig it into rocks, push it into riverbank, whatever I need to do. It still has a composite shaft, so it lightens it up a little bit, but to each their own, and it really depends on what you're doing. So hope that helps you out. Use the manufacturer's website. They have the matrices on there, but probably the biggest consideration is going to be what you plan to do with it.